All right. Well, welcome. We are thrilled that you are here with us today. This is one of our mission podcasts. Actually, this is our third mission podcast of sharing some of the great things going on here at First Grapevine Methodist Church. And I am Dr. Keva Green, one of the pastors here. And today we're really excited because we're going to be talking about Vacation Bible Church. Blew it already. Vacation Bible Camp.
It's a training situation.
It is. Vacation Bible Camp. It's because I really want to call it Vacation Bible School because growing up, that's what I called it. So, and we'll get into that too. Y'all get to talk about that. But I have two very special guests. I'm going to let y'all introduce yourselves and tell how long you've been here and how long you've been doing this fun stuff and tell little special things about you too. So
special things about me. Okay, well, my name is Sandy Robinson, and I am the Director of Family Ministries. I've been here at Grapevine for 9 years, 7 working in family ministries. 2, I just took off and took a break and retired for a little bit and decided that wasn't for me. Things about myself, I have a little dachshund. And I love being a granny. It's my favorite title. That's about it. I'll turn it over to Lucy.
Good.
I'm Lucy Clowers. I've been here since the August 2023. And I work in the children's ministry here. And I have 2 cats, and I'm getting married in February.
That's a big one.
That's what I was trying to see if she'd pull that part out. So, yeah, congratulations. We're excited. So y'all have been busy with VBC, Vacation Bible Camp. So we'll start with that first. Why did we change the name?
I wasn't here when the name actually changed, but I heard it was to kind of attract more kids, to make it seem more fun versus having more school during the summer.
Good.
That was what I heard too. That was the deciding
part.
factor.
They didn't want it to scare kids away.
Yeah, they wanted it to be a camp, and it makes it. You've planned camp wise because like Lucy's got lots of camp experience, and so it works for us.
Yeah. Very good. Well, in fact, before we go on, kind of talk a little bit about your camp experience because you do have some great experience.
Yeah, I grew up going to Glen Lake Camp. It's in Glen Rose, Texas, and I worked there for 4 summers. I did 3 years of just a regular counselor, and then I did 1 year on lead staff. But I just really big on camp. Yeah.
Yeah. You just love working with children, don't you?
And camp is just a really special place to get closer to God.
Yeah. Very good. All right. So how about if you just kind of give me the highlights of VBC? What were the big things if you were going to talk about just kind of a summary of some of the things, and then we can get into the details, but kind of a summary of, how many we had and what it looked like, and think about if it's somebody that didn't know about VBC, how would you describe how ours was?
Well, we had about 150 kids, but I would say it's just a fun week where we can gather and have fun activities, but also get closer to God. Like all the activities, ultimately, we're learning more about God.
Very good. And there were 150 kids, but there were a lot more than that on the campus. How many, do you have a feel for how many volunteers?
I do. I feel like throughout the week, we had about 1,000 people here between the Vacation Bible Camp, the kids who came, the volunteers, and then Thursday night closing when we had grandparents. So, and that was in 4 days. So we had a lot of people coming through this campus. And one of the things I want to pick up on that Lucy was talking about is every day there was a Bible theme, and that theme ran through crafts, it ran through snacks, it went through storytelling, so it was kind of reinforced. And they had it in worship in the beginning and the end. So for someone who maybe doesn't go to church regularly, they they got the full church experience in a fun setting.
Okay. And you had an overall theme for the week. So you can show off your shirts. Do you want to tell a little bit about why road trip was the theme?
Sure. They used journeys out of the Bible. For instance, the Good Samaritan story where everybody walked by the poor man laying on the street, and then the Good Samaritan came along and paid for him and told the innkeeper he'd come back and pay for him. So that was my favorite one. But they had Zacchaeus, who traveled to see Jesus and climbed up a tree so that he got to see him. The one was, I think, when they were getting out of Egypt. Okay. Oh gosh, that was from the Old Testament. I can't remember. There was one more that I don't remember what it was.
Mary jumping for joy.
Oh, that's right. When Elizabeth and Mary got together. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and the storytellers did such a great job of bringing those stories to life. And one of the things that you mentioned, what was a highlight? Well, every day the storytellers would say, well, is there any child that wants to close us in prayer? And almost every day in every session, a child would close. And those are just moments that are precious.
Yeah, that is so powerful when they want to be a part of that and talk to God and pray. And very good. But of course, we also see that in our Sunday services when y'all do children's time. You usually have different ones that really want to volunteer and be the ones to pray, which sometimes adults aren't always the best at wanting to do that. So that's great.
Well, and something else that happened this year that hasn't happened in the past that was really exciting is that the sermon series went along with the same theme of road trip. So, and I think it's great when everything comes together.
Yeah, that's true, because that was fun for us, that we were looking at Paul's travels and the places that he went, but then we were also studying the letters that he wrote back to different churches. And so it's been a good week.
Yeah.
A good month.
Yes.
A good month doing that. So, yeah, good. Well, now you didn't just teach them Bible stories. There were a lot of activities that went on every day. So kind of give us a feel of what would the day look like? How would it start, and then how would it go through, and how long did it last? And
so they would start. We have elementary in one spot and pre-K in another, but it starts with an opening of with a little skit and then a Bible story video, just to kind of introduce what the topic was for the day. And then they would go to rotations. And everyone's schedule looked a little different just because there's just so many things to go to. But the rotations included snack, rec, crafts, story time, and music. So they would go to each one of those, different schedule for everyone, but about 20 or so minutes for each one.
Good. Yeah.
And something that we've started a couple years ago, and it's grown, is we let the fifth graders, because about that time you start to see them drop off in fourth grade or fifth grade, the attendance. So we separate out the fifth graders, and the youth director takes that group. And they have, this year, that what they did is, instead of having story time, they did skits for each of the Bible stories. And then they might have a special thing that they do. They might walk to Sonic, or they might help with the younger ones in music or something. They don't have the exact same plan.
Yeah. So you really fit it to whatever that age group is. And same thing with pulling out the younger ones and keeping them more in kind of one area doing the different activities versus the others that moved around to all the different locations.
Yeah, and what Lucy had, the preschool, the snacks would be brought to them, the crafts would be brought to them, so you weren't trying to, what do they call that when you interrupt kids? Transition them. You weren't transitioning constantly, because that's hard for those little ones. So, yeah, having that preschool separate and seeing them do music at their level. They're not having to listen
Yes.
to the loud, craziness that you have in the sanctuary with the older kids. It's really pretty exciting to watch.
Yeah. Well, it takes a certain skill to be able to pull all those things together, because it's a lot of moving parts to have all that, and have volunteers that are staying with their group to walk them to the next one, or to stay in their classroom, and those that are coming in to handle the crafts or handle the different activities. So it was amazing just kind of being on the outside. As pastors, we kind of mingled and kept a watch on it, but y'all were doing all the work, and it was just amazing watching the whole thing going.
Well, talking about that, about the pastors, that was also, I think, an advantage this year of having the pastors in that area where the parents were coming and going, the kids were coming and going. It just added another element of excitement to it. And Pastor Zach he was our navigator when Lucy was talking about opening worship. So for the elementary, he was part of the skit, and he's so good. He has the ability, which I do not have, to get them to quiet down. Like he could say, okay, we're going to bring a hush all over this sanctuary, and it would get quiet. Now, I did the same thing, and it never got quiet. So that,
Of course, you didn't have cowboy boots and a cowboy hat on.
I did not. And I didn't have a big orange vest and look important. But that was, the presence of the pastors, I think, made a difference.
Yeah, Pastor Zach did a fabulous job. With those each time as we opened up, and then he did a little bit at the close each day, and then for the closing service, then on Thursday night too. So that was important. We'll talk a little bit about some of the crafts that they made.
So they made, to go along with the road trip theme, like wooden cars. I think one day they decorated them, and then the next day they actually raced them. They made a frame that ended up having a picture of them that they got to take home. And they also did a stained glass cross with like tissue paper and stuff. Those are some of the ones they did.
Yeah. And I think a compass with a little,
Oh, yes.
where they strung the beads.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That they
was
could
cool.
put on a backpack, I think.
Yeah. Good.
And then we asked them, early on, when we get registrations, we would send them our little road trip Jesus. I wish I would have brought one in here. But, and we asked them, if you're going to be out of town on vacation, send us your picture, and we'll put it on the map. And so we did that weekend. We didn't have quite as many as I thought we might have then, but they're coming in now, more and more. And that just added another element of excitement, another thing that they could look forward to, along with, we always do a mission. And the mission that we chose this year was the Methodist Children's Home, the Bike Project, because our church has been doing it for years. And the kids responded so well. We ended up, our final figure was $1,534, I think, $1,534. So we are able to purchase 15 bikes and 15 helmets, which was, very, very exciting.
Yeah. In fact, you had a little competition going between
Yes.
Yes.
the girls and the boys. A little pink suitcase and a little blue suitcase, and that was great. Well, in fact, the decorations were amazing. Just the whole campus was transformed with amazing decorations. You want to talk any about some of that and the group that put that together?
Well, there were a lot of moving pieces and a lot of people that helped with that. But there were just like a food truck in the Family Life Center for snack time. So it was like they were getting food from a food truck. There's just maps everywhere. And roads in our two main areas, the sanctuary and the chapel, that were exciting.
Yeah. Lots of suitcases all around.
And our church is so large, and the fact that we separate preschool and elementary, we had to have 2 stages. And so they were amazing. And what's really cool is it's recycled. Like 2 churches got to have their stages already done for them because ours were really good. And so, decorating was really amazing.
Yeah. did a great job with that. Well, what about the Thursday night, the wrap up? Well, first, go back. Kind of explain the time that it would start and what time would it end on Monday through Thursday.
Okay, it would start at 9 o'clock
Okay.
with worship and end at noon with worship.
Right. So it's just in the morning. Okay.
And before we get too far off, I don't want to forget this. Every day there was some exciting new thing for them to see.
Yeah.
And that was, our volunteers pulled all that together. From the very first meeting, they got real excited about it, and they were thinking about ideas, and pretty much everyone they thought about came true. We had a bus that had been converted by the Prices into a travel trailer, so a school bus. We had a God is Big Enough fishing boat, and the man who does his ministry out of that boat. We had a fabulous looking car. It was an antique car.
1956.
Oh my gosh. It was like
Chevrolet.
sparkly and beautiful.
Chevrolet something.
Yeah, it was gorgeous. And then we had a fire truck. And so every day there was something exciting to draw them over to see. I didn't realize I had so much to say. I don't want to forget this. This probably doesn't go along with anything that we're talking about right now, but what I saw that I have never noticed before, and I noticed it because we have such great volunteers that the week before we pretty much had everybody in place. And so the week of, Lucy and I were able to really be around in every section. And that really helped when it came time to think about, well, what do we want to do different next year? What do we want to improve on? But what I saw that I'd never seen before was church members who go to different services, some that had never met each other. And they worked together, and they became friends. And I mean, that was just so exciting. And we've also gotten people who are, this is another benefit of Vacation Bible Camp for us. We've gotten volunteers that didn't really know that they liked working with children or in children's ministry. And so we've gotten some new people working with kids, which is, a big bonus.
Absolutely. Good. Yeah. Well, and I know just other things that you had out there, thinking about the cars and so forth. You had a climbing wall one day, which was amazing. That was pretty cool.
Yes, and the Sanders, who was our lead in vacation or in recreation, told us that even the kindergartners were climbing. Some of them climbing to the top of that wall.
Yeah,
it was a big hit. Pastor Zach climbed to the top of it.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was neat, and especially for some of those little kids. Of course, they had harnesses on, but that took a lot of nerve for some of them to climb that. So that was pretty cool. So, good.
You want to talk a little bit about Thursday night? Because Thursday night was pretty exciting as well.
Yes, but I know you're talking about what they did during the day, but after it ended at 12, we actually held afternoon camps.
Oh, that's right.
We had 2 afternoon camps. We had one that was held in the chapel and one held in the Family Life Center. We had cheer camp and sports camp, and we had like 50 kids all together attend an afternoon camp. And sports camp we've been doing for a while, but cheer camp was a new addition this year. But the great thing about those camps is that they're also Christ-centered, and they're like learning still, even in the afternoon.
Yeah. Well, in fact, Ruth and I peeked in on the cheer camp, since it was right here in the chapel, a couple times. And, they were either talking to the girls, kind of telling them some stories and reminding them of Christian ideas and so forth, and then they'd do their cheers. And it was really fun to watch that. So, good. All right. Thursday evening, or anything else we're leaving out of the day part that you want to slide in there?
I hope not. I want everybody to know what all we did, but I don't think so.
Okay. So Thursday night was amazing. So walk us through that, all that went on that evening.
So we started out with announcing how much money we raised for like our big project. And then we went into the performance, and the kids were amazing. Rebecca did, and all her helpers did an amazing job working with those kids for that. And then we had a video play a little late. I forgot to announce it, but there was a video, and it's online now too, of just all the pictures and fun things that happened this week.
Well, maybe we can attach that at the end of
Yes.
this.
Oh, we should.
This.
We should. Because it is really
It
good.
was a really
Yeah,
good
because
video.
that's what really shows you, seeing all those pictures.
Yes.
Come on, let's go! Come on, everybody, this will be a party. Buckle up, grab a friend, jump on in. It's a celebration filled with revelation. Buckle up, grab a friend, jump on in. Everywhere we travel shows us more of who God is. As we learn to trust God's word, we find out how to live. Let's take a road trip. God knows where we're going, leading us to a place where we find love and grace. Road trip, we're never alone, and the journey will never stop. We're on the go with God. Oh, let's take a road trip. Alright! Nothing more we need, riding where God leads. Buckle up, grab a friend, jump on in. Never-ending journey, loving and learning. Buckle up, grab a friend, jump on in. Everywhere we travel shows us more of who God is. As we learn to trust God's word, we find out how to live. Let's take a road trip. God knows where we're going, leading us to a place where we find love and grace. Road trip, we're never alone, and the journey will never stop. We're on the go with God. Are we there yet? We are on our way. Are we there yet? We are on our way. Are we there yet? We are on our way. Are we there yet? There yet? Let's take a road trip. God knows where we're going, leading us to a place where we find love and grace. Road trip, we're never alone, and the journey will never stop. We're on the go with God. Oh, let's take a road trip.
And then it went into our big celebration, our party, where they got pizza and ice cream and could use our bounce houses and just gather together.
Yeah. And it was fun watching all the families out there, because just huge amount of people, because it was the kids coming back, but it was their parents coming to watch them perform and sing, and then to be in the closing ceremonies, and then with the tables sitting out there and just people all over the place and just visiting. It really was fun. Just watch, different people meeting new ones, but then also just enjoying
Yeah.
the time watching kids, and a special
Yeah,
time.
and it was total free time. So they were relaxing and chatting, and it was heartwarming to watch, and
And it was a beautiful evening too.
it was. It
So,
was.
yeah. In fact, God blessed us this year. It wasn't that hot
That is true.
for the whole week, and especially that evening, it was a nice breeze and felt good. So we'll count on that for the next
Yeah.
year
Yeah.
too, right?
Right.
Thank
That'd
you,
be
Lord.
great.
We've ordered that.
Very good. Well, if you had to pick out one thing that either you saw or that you were aware of, was there anything that just kind of, one of those extra, where have you seen God, something that touched you?
I'll speak up right away. I think it was like Wednesday before BBC, maybe it was Thursday. I was in Ruth's office and she said, "Oh, I love to storytell. I wish I was a storyteller." I'm like, "Well, why aren't you?" I mean, okay, why are you keeping this a secret? So we said, well, let's use you because it would really be helpful for Ed. Ed does double duty. He's Ed Crater's our safety man, and He kind of coordinates the traffic flow and stuff for VBC, and he's also a storyteller. So it's pressure for him to get in there for the first rotation that comes in, and it's also the same at the end. So Ruth agreed to do those 2 sessions. And oh my gosh, the kids loved her.
And she loved it. She was so good.
She was
with it.
so good. She was preparing over the weekend. She called me over the weekend to ask me stuff or text me. And, that was like big surprise, fun thing to see. You could just, you knew she was sharing Jesus from her heart.
Yeah.
And the kids, you could tell the kids knew it too. They responded to it.
Yeah. Well, and we didn't mention, but Ruth is our secretary for our pastors. And so, that's not normally a role that she plays, but man, she stepped into it and did a fabulous job. Cool. All right, Lucy, anything special for you?
I think it was just the week as a whole, like seeing the kids, like as the week went on, like what they were taking from it, like how quickly they learned the memory verse and just each theme for the day, like in their answers, you could tell they were getting something, and that's really special.
Yeah. Well, I'll share with you one of the things that I enjoy watching. I'm a people watcher, and watching some of those connections, especially in a couple of cases, if we had a child that may have not been right there wanting to jump in on things or whatever, that some of the volunteers were just great. And I'm thinking particular of one gentleman that's been a part of our church for a long time, but was just so compassionate with a little boy that wasn't quite sure he wanted to be there and could have been a little trouble every once in a while, but there was this connection and just watching it through the week of, how they were, just kind of, the little boy kind of trusted him to, it was going to be okay, So, some of those connections and some of those connections between kids too, of watching how they came in the first time. And of course, you always have those that are already in Sunday school together, are already in school together, and they know each other. But that first day, sometimes you have some that you can tell by their faces they're not quite sure they want to be here, and then seeing them at the end and they're just so comfortable and they have all these friends hanging off of them, and it's just amazing. So yeah so
I agree. That was fun to see.
good All right, well, before we wrap it up, anything else y'all want to say or would like to add to all this before we?
I would like to say thank you to the volunteers, because I've said this many times and I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Grapevine has the best volunteers. We typically do not have a problem getting volunteers. And I've served in 2 other churches. That is not usually the case. This is a really unique situation.
Yeah. Well, and the good thing about volunteers, you had those that were working directly with the kids. But if there was somebody that didn't feel that comfortable with it, we had, some of the guys out directing traffic. We had some of the women in the kitchen. There were other things to do, those that decorated. So there's always something that everyone can find to do. But it is amazing to watch. Well, that about wraps it up for our VBC Vacation Bible Camp. And we're already planning for next year. You're already looking at what went well this time and looking ahead.
We already have the theme for next year.
Okay, so what's our theme for next year?
It's Snowball Mountain Challenge, and it's talking about finding your strength in God.
Wow, very good.
Very exciting. July 6th through 9th.
6th through the 9th. So go ahead and mark your calendars.
That's right.
All right. So volunteers will be reaching out to you earlier, and for the kids, parents put that on the calendar for the kids. But Sandy and Lucy, thank you so much for being a part of this and sharing, especially that week, sharing your hearts with everyone. But just, I have to say, the amazing things that you do for this church with our ongoing children's stuff all the time, because this was just 1 week, but you are constantly putting together creative arts camps or other kind of camps and different things happening in just the regular weekly and the Sunday morning things. So thank you both for the ways that you serve the Lord and the way that you serve our children. So, all right, that wraps it up. So go ahead and mark your calendars, and we'll see you next year. Hopefully we'll see you before then.